Let's talk about your last fight, man. Big win last time out. To me, from the outside looking in, I almost feel like that was like a career changer, like like a moment in your life. Am I reading too much into that, or is that like
no, you're right.
moment?
You're absolutely right. Am I looking at you, the camera?
You look at me.
All right. So honestly, the fight started out kind of cool. I know he was weird, very unorthodox. Decided to keep going. Couldn't find my footing. Timing was off. He was just weird. He reminded me of the first guy I fought to get in an Ultimate Fight. It was just very unorthodox. And, you know, the uppercut plus the unorthodox neck shook me up a little bit. Weathered the storm. In the midst of all that, I was definitely in my head saying, what the heck am I doing? I even got caught with that. But I'm a perfectionist. I'm always hard on myself. There was a point, though, when he had my back with the rear naked choke. And I remember saying, I'm done. I'm done after this. I'm really done. And I felt a certain way where I wasn't, you know, in the complete lock. And after that, it was autopilot for me. My body took over, still went through it. Second round came, coaches spoke to me. They were cool and calm about it. Eric was giving me some pointers. Clayton was just trying to keep me cool. And went back out there, said, okay, let me readjust. Still couldn't do it. Had a moment to say, you know what? Can I curse?
Absolutely.
I literally said, fuck this shit. I was like, I'm tired of this shit. Fuck this shit. Fuck this motherfucker. And then it happened. And, you know, you're right. It was like a career change because for a long time I haven't embraced the fact that I'm a badass. You know, I hear it and people tell me to be humble. I'm always in my own head. I'm like, all right. Because the martial arts karate ways are like, I can hurt you, but I got to be cool. But I'm like, wait a minute. I'm in the fucking most dangerous sport in the world. Like, I don't have to do that. You know, I don't have to feel sorry for you. So I think I'm at that phase. And I've heard a quote that says, you have 2 lives, and the second one begins when you realize you have one. I'm like, you know what? I got one.
That's awesome. Along the way, man, you know, you had the losses and the setbacks and all that. I mean, did anybody ever pull you aside and be like, Uriah, you were too damn good to be letting this happen, man?
I've had that so many times from close friends or even fans. But in anything you do, even for your career, you know, if you don't see it for yourself how good you are, it means nothing. You can't change, readjust, or add stuff. You know, everyone could say stuff, but when you see it for yourself, it makes a complete difference. And I didn't have that. I would have people all the time, you know, everybody, dude, you're this. Even Dana would be like, dude, I wish I could plug a fucking controller in your ass and play. But if I don't see it, it would never mean anything. And, you know, when you start to embrace it, and that's one of the things I've learned, where my mom was telling me to embrace it. You know, it's okay to feel that way. Embrace it. Embrace the fact that you can hurt somebody. Embrace the fact that you have all this skill set. Embrace it. Accept it. And go out there and fuck shit up.
Was it just self-confidence?
You know, I don't want to put a label on things because self-confidence is just believing in yourself. And I definitely believe in myself. But if you look at the fact that I do it outside the cage and the difference in the cage, there's always something holding me back. And I don't think it was the confidence. It was the fact that it's okay to do what I do. And I just wasn't okay with that for a long time because I love to compete, but a lot of people know I don't like to hurt people. But to understand that, hey, you can actually really hurt someone and it's okay, I just kind of came to grip with that and say, shit, it's okay.
That's amazing. So the lesson learned in the cage, is that translating to practice on a daily basis? Is that translating to your life on a daily basis? Or is that only like, you know, the moment the bell rings?
I definitely think the lesson that I learned is translating to practice differently. I always had a fear in the cage because I would, you know, coach will tell you, he'll be like, all right, let's do some round in the cage. I'm like, I don't like the cage. And if I can go back to when I competed against Kelvin, and someone said something the other day, he was telling me about, he's one of my best friends, he was telling me about the fear he had of flying. And he said it started back when he had this really bad incident where he was in the plane or whatever, and was flying, and there was some kind of crazy turbulence, and it lasted for a while, and he said that he's never felt so scared. He said something happened where he was just shooken up after that, where he'd never experienced it, but it hit him so hard. And I started to think for myself, and I went back that the only time I've ever felt that way was when I fought Kelvin, where I came out of the show, I had all this pressure, and everybody in my ear, and I was like, oh my God, I have to win. And if you look back at what I did in the show, people were like, well, how did you do all this on the show? Because I didn't have all that. For me, it was just, all right, this is where I need to go. Let me get over there. And, you know, I had momentum. I had people I had to prove wrong back home that I lost my job from. And when I got to the Ultimate Fighter finale, I was just so overwhelmed, so scared, so nervous, and had all this pressure that I broke. And I couldn't really pull that trigger. Aside of the fact that he's, you know, my good friend too, so that played a part. But I just think now, you know, again, it's just going back to the fact that I'm embracing it. and I've never done that before. So I definitely think the transition that I made in that adjustment is definitely helping me outside the ring in life too, because that's important as well, but definitely inside of training camp, you know, in the cage, around my sparring partners and stuff like that.
So does it almost feel like this is the start of your career? Like all that was just leading up to like now it's officially launching?
I definitely feel like that. You know, even when you do feel like that, there's always that little thing in your head like, hey man, don't get too happy mode, you know? But I definitely do, because this camp has been rocky, man. I've been training for 9 weeks. I didn't even stop training after my last fight. And 3 weeks ago, my body shut down. And my coach was like, dude, you didn't stop training. And I just realized I didn't stop training. Like I was there every day. And in the midst of all that, you know, one of my coaches took his life, Robert Fallis, and then I actually lost a best friend too. And that happened the day after each other. And then prior to that, I was sick. I was sick for like 3 weeks leading up to that. So with all of that, I was breaking. I mean, I called my sister. I pretty much cried almost every night. I called my sister, said, I can't do this. I don't know what to do. What do I do? You know, I called my mom, and my mom's like, listen, you got to embrace it. It's happening, and you have to accept that it's happening. It's a part of life. People die. It's happening. You have to accept the fact that it's happening. I'm like, I can't do this. I can't fight. I can't fight. I can't fight like this. It's a big fight for me, and I can't. And she kept stressing that. So I redirect my approach, bringing certain people around me. Actually, I shouldn't say that. Focusing on the important people around me. Like you know, I know you have a son or whatever. It's important to you. You know, your wife, the close people around you. That's what's really important. And people tell you all the time, hey, YOLO, live right now. But unless it really happens to you, you won't see it. And I think the fact that Robert and I was close, and it happened to me, I really saw that, shit, I'm not gonna make it out of this alive. So why am I putting all this pressure on myself, you know? And that was a moment for me.
That's tough, man. So the past 3 weeks since all that, I mean, are you feeling good? I mean, do you feel like you're in a good place now?
I feel like I'm in a great place. You know, again, I think it's just the surrounding of the positive reinforcement of the people, the really important ones. Like take Instagram. I got like 200,000 followers. I probably know 12 of those people really well. I don't know everybody else. So it's like, why am I going to focus on all these, you know? So it's focus on the right people. And of course, having those people reminding you, like my little brother's always reminding me not to stress the little things, seeing what's really important, you know, which is time. Time you can't really give back. Time you invest with people, your family, your friends. And it just kind of made me zone in on what's really important. And you know what, I've been taking this serious, but it's really not that serious. It's a part of my journey. You know, if I don't make it, I don't make it. If I do, I do. But at the same time, I want to say, you know what, I did what I could, and I gave it my best. And I think God is just constantly trying to remind me that, hey, I gave you all this talent. Don't throw it away for nothing. So I'm starting to be like, oh, shit, thank you, God, you know?
Seems like you're even more comfortable doing this. I mean, for the longest time, you hated talking to us, right? I mean, is that a byproduct of this, or are you just putting on a happy face for people? I mean,
if I could be honest, Dana paid me. No, I'm kidding. No. I actually do, and I have Coach Clayton to thank for that, because for a long time he's always like, son, you're not all bad, champ. You know, you inspire people sometime too. You know, not everybody's gonna come at you with negative affirmation. It's a part of your career. It comes with it, and it pays the bill. But it's going back to what happened to me too, and just realizing that, you know what, as much as people pick and choose certain things, maybe there's something that they pick and choose that could help somebody. Like what I started to do this whole New Year's, I'm never big on New Year's resolution. So what I started to do, I actually made a plan. Because I'm like, man, every day is New Year. I'm not doing this shit like everybody. But I wrote down stuff that I needed to do. A part of it was letting go of the negative affirmation. Letting go of the things that really don't help me. Even the people. I even cleared out my phone list. I probably have like 25 to 30 people in my phone list. And I had over 1,000. So it's small things like that to really cleanse myself. You know, I train my body all the time as an athlete, but one of the most important things that I always forget to train is my mind. And the enemy would fight you in your mind, because this is your most powerful tool. So I guess you can say I'm comfortable with it because I'm embracing it. It comes with it. I'm accepting it. And all I got to do is be myself. You know, I was a dick in the past, and it's because you get hurt so many times. And I was mad at the media for portraying certain things, but that's them. And I can't be mad at that. Some people are going to like you. Some people are going to not. But as long as you're yourself, you don't have to explain to your friends and your family.
Very cool. All right, well, let's talk about the fight itself. You mentioned it's a big one, man. Vitor Belfort, legend of the sport. So when they came to you with this fight, what was your initial thought?
Man, how did this even start? I think I must have thrown some names, but it was highly recommended. A couple people threw it at me, including the matchmaker, even Ali, one of the managers for a lot of the fighters. And I was like, all right, yeah, sure, no problem. And I didn't think about it as much, but then when it happened and he accepted the fight, I was like, all right, we have ourselves a scrap. And I'm looking forward to it, man. I have nothing bad to say about Vitor. He's a legend in the sport. He accomplished a lot. He fought so many people. And, you know, there's outside fights, too. I know people, or him, you know, he's done steroids and other things. You know, I know he had a loss in family. His sister was kidnapped or taken away at a young age, I'm guessing. But I try not to focus on the negative affirmation again. Everyone has their battles outside, and no one sees that. You know, everyone sees when you're in there, and they say you're as good as your last fight. Great guy. I met him a couple of times. I think I met him in Curitiba last time, and he was actually giving me some advice about losing weight and stuff like that. So I have nothing bad to say about him. It's just a wonderful opportunity to go up against a legend, you know. And I'm not focused too much on having his name on my resume, but at the same time say, hey, you went up against one of the best.
Yeah, I mean, he said going in, this is his retirement fight. So, I mean, this is a part of the history books, right? I mean, this is the final fight. So does it feel kind of like a big fight for you?
It feels big, but I'm not putting too much pressure on it. You know, it's like I'm leaving that to God. You know, I already prepared for this. If it goes out the way I planned, then I feel great. If it doesn't, then I can't take anything away from myself. But I'm not planning on that side of it. I'm just more excited to showcase my true self. And, you know, like Bruce Lee said, to do something like this, you have to express yourself. And it's the scariest thing I ever done. But the more I keep doing that scared, the more I feel like I'm stepping outside my comfort zone and I'm growing. You know, I think a little differently. I'm not just in it for the limelight. It comes with it, the money, the fame. I used to get freaked out about when people approach me like, hey man, leave me alone. But it comes with it. And if I can shine a light a little bit on somebody, then that's cool.
Very cool. Well, it's been an interesting journey to get here, but it feels like it's the start of a journey in the same way. So, you know, you mentioned it. What's the goals right now? I mean, do you have little things that you want to do professionally this year? You know, the near future. What's the direction right now?
Well, I'm definitely going to be champion. I definitely see my eyes set on that. You know, aside from playing the politicking game, you know, some people they hide around fighters to get to that. I'm ready to fight anybody. I already have 2 people I want to call out after this. There's some up-and-comers. You know, they're hungry, and I think it's the best way to remind these guys that they're not ready. So I'm excited about that too. Definitely want the champ, Robert Whitaker. I fought him a long time ago. I wasn't at my best, but I'm not going to take anything away from him. I definitely want to go up against the #1 contender, which is Luke Rockhold. You know, I see a lot of holes, and I definitely think I can take him. And I'm just ready to jump out there, man. It's like I'm finally coming out of that shell, and it's an exciting feeling.
No doubt. Well, I guess it all starts on Sunday. Vitor Belfort, when you play this thing out in your mind, man, how do you see it? Because on paper, it looks like it could be short but fun.
You know, I'm a karate guy, you know, background. And for me, it's all about timing. When I have good timing, precision, I'm going for the KO, I'm going for the win. If it goes the distance, you know, I'm coming at him because I don't think a lot of people come at Vitor. And for the few that do, you know, they take him out. So that's my game plan. Come at him.